I remember one day in London on the tube, stepping off the train, and there was this thing that you find all over London tube stations, the mind the gap. I thought, yeah, that has to be it, surely, this gap between B1 and B2 that my students just seem unable to cross. Another thing that I started to do with my students was to flip the grammar, and that is to actually get them to tell me the grammar. I thought it's pointless. Every time I tell them I'm going to explain the passive voice again, I can see their faces switching off. And I thought, no, actually we're not going to do that. They're going to come to class and they're going to tell me about the passive voice. And so I literally flipped the grammar class and warned them in advance, when you come on Tuesday, you're going to have to tell me about the passive voice. And by getting them to go away and prepare and be willing to come into class and talk to the whole class about the passive voice and when it's used and how it's formed and so on, by flipping the classroom, then I found that we made better progress. Families are groups of words. This is about actually helping students gain depth of vocabulary. So this exercise here with remember and forget is very much about going deeper in terms of remember and going deeper in terms of forget. Remember, number one, a verb, to learn something so that you can remember it. Yes, thank you, Patrick, memorize. Number two, a noun, a person's ability to remember things or something that you remember. A memory, thank you, Carlos. Number three, noun, something that is built or done to remind people of a person or an event. A memorial, thanks, people. At this intermediate level, exercises like this one on remember and forget, which generate depth of vocabulary, are very, very useful. This activity of a dictogloss is really interesting. This would be a typical piece that I would dictate to them and which they wouldn't be able to see. And they just have to try and remember, and when I'm not speaking, they can write. Now, they very quickly get words like love and photo, strange and dress. But what they can't easily put down is things like that and was, which comes after dress. When the exercise is finished and I show them the actual words I said, they are always amazed that English can take words like that and was and reduce them to almost nothing. And a coat that was too small, but by showing them that and was become that was, they then hear it the next time by focusing specifically on language, which words did I say, they actually get better at listening in the future. So measuring progress is really important, and believing you can do it is really important. And we need to do this with students. We need to find suitable moments to step aside and say to them, you lead us, you lead the class. And once they start believing, and once they realize they can cross this plateau, then the summit is where they're heading. So thank you, everybody. Mind the gap in the station, mind the gap between B1 and B2, but more than a gap, think of it as a plateau, and look for course books, especially such as English File or Voyage, that deal particularly with getting across this plateau.